Welcome everyone to another episode of Unscripted Coding. Today we are going to work on a project, and once again I have Claude here, who is an awesome pair programmer here. Basically our project is trying to use Python to create PowerPoint files. Now I've started this off, I'm almost certain this is not going to work on our first shot, and it's missing a bunch of features even if it does. But let's think back for a moment. The first time I used Claude and its artifacts feature was because I saw the video in which Claude had put out and shown how it would use HTML and JavaScript to create presentations for the workplace. And in many ways that worked fantastic. In fact, I used it in a real presentation. But not everyone knows HTML and JavaScript, so I could do a great presentation, but other folks cannot reuse it, can't edit it, can't change it without learning how to code or at least getting the right tools. So I'm thinking and I realize, there's limited utility to that if I want to share it across a workplace. Most people are using Microsoft Office, that's PowerPoint, to create these presentations. And so I did a little bit of research very quickly. Actually, I asked Claude for it and said, well, is there a way to create PowerPoint files on the go? And I went down a path because there are JavaScript libraries that do that. And I realized, that's not going to be a great way to do it moving forward. What I think will make a lot more sense is using Python. So ultimately, I asked it to create a Python script that uses Python PPTX, that's PowerPoint, to generate a standard PowerPoint file. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because Python has access to a lot more different libraries, a lot more different packages that will allow it to do different things. In my case, I have a set of bullet points, which is a title and then a URL as a sub-bullet. Title, sub-bullet, URL. Title, sub-bullet, URL, and you can imagine the list goes on. What I wanted to do is take that list and just create a whole bunch of PowerPoint slides that goes to the article, summarizes it very quickly, pulls out the bullet points, throws it into a slide, and creates a PowerPoint, something that I can start off with. I'd use, of course, an LLM, OpenAI, to turn an article into the bullet points. But if you think about JavaScript, it has very limited abilities to connect and fetch articles off the internet through URLs. But in Python, lots of different ways. We're going to use Beautiful Soup to go connect to the internet, grab the text of the article, throw it into OpenAI, get 3 or 4 bullet points spat out, and then add it to the PowerPoint. Now, we're not going to do anything fancy, but Python PowerPoint is able to change your background color, change your format, do different things. Really, I'm not super fussed about that. I just want to see if this will work. And so, in preparation for this, I copied and pasted this. I created a virtual environment and downloaded the relevant files here. And I pasted the code into Visual Studio. So you'll see that I have put in an API key. Don't bother, I will have revoked it by the time this video goes live. But you could see the overall logic here. You have your main function that will run everything. It'll create a presentation. It's going to create a list of titles and URLs. And finally, for each of the titles and URLs in that list, we're going to scrape the article that's using Beautiful Soup. We're going to generate bullet points through OpenAI, and then we're going to create the slide. I am just going to run this and see where it goes. Now, this chat completion may not work. I'm not sure why there is a red squiggly line, but let's just start debugging. Oops. And okay. So we can use an older version of OpenAI, but chat completion is no longer available. So I'm gonna copy and paste this and ask Claude to fix this up. Hey Claude, chat completion no longer works. Here's the error it pops up. Please fix and use the latest version of the API. And this is why I love Claude. I don't have to go and look into it. I can just ask it to fix it. And I'm fairly certain this looks a lot more familiar. So, I'm going to take this, come back, stop, replace this, and I think this is going to work. But we'll see. Client is not defined. I did not copy and paste this correctly. Let me see. Client, oh, okay. They have changed how this works a little bit as well. So, I was hoping to save one of these. And I think we have to import OpenAI like this. And I think, I'm going to keep saying this, I think this will work. Oh, I don't think, oh, no, we did import requests. This is taking a little bit longer. Oh, we don't have the placeholder image. Ooh. Okay, let me see if I can. Readily find a new image, placeholder, and this will be BMP. And I think, since it went past that part, we're gonna have to find some real articles. So, let's go on Wikipedia. And what do we want to search up? Let's go famous artists Renaissance. I can't spell. Okay, Renaissance art. Let's pick John Van Eyck and come on, give me someone I recognize. Michelangelo. Okay, so two different ones. Wikipedia, Michelangelo. Wikipedia, John Van Eyck. So now we should have some real links, and we can stop and run this one more time, and hopefully we can get somewhere. Okay, fine. I'll find an image here. you'll just have to bear with me for a moment here while I find a real image. And now it is a JPEG. And one last time, hopefully. But while that is happening, let's start looking at what we're doing here. So I think scraping the article is pretty easily. With Beautiful Soup, you're going to have an HTML parser. You're going to go to request, you request the web page, and all it's getting is this massive HTML file or code. And so Beautiful Soup is going to parse out all of the text, and you can see it's looking for all the paragraphs in the text. I think you can do some more fiddling if you need to find the spans and other pieces of text, but you're going to find all of them to create an article. This is a pretty simple approach. I don't think it's perfect, but I think it'll work for Wikipedia. Now, generate bullets is your standard OpenAI API call. I think we should probably not use 3.5 Turbo, but it'll keep it cheap. But you can see you are a helpful assistant that generates concise bullet points and generate 3 brief bullet points from the article. We can make those prompts way, way, way better if we needed to. Finally, create slide. This is the part where I really wanted AI to help because the PowerPoint library looked really painful to deal with. So I think once I figure and prove this out as something working, I'm going to adjust these so that the images are sized correctly, that the text is the right size, all of those things. But I'm sure this will look at least decent. You see that I've done a couple of different things. I have a slide title, I have the bullets, I have a placeholder image, and I have speaker notes as well, just to have the right URL in there. What I think I want to extend this one step further is I might use Google's API to then source an image as well. So for example, I might search Michelangelo, pick a random image out of the top 2 or 3. I might even be able to use AI to pick the right image to put here and ask it which one is the most relevant. Now, the moment of truth is checking out our output. So I'm going to open up, and you can see that the text is too big and it's not perfect. But this is our placeholder image. Has created 3 bullet points from the URL and done everything we wanted. And so I'm going to keep working on these small, simple projects with Claude because this is going to be incredibly useful for me at work. I might want to figure out removing these bullet points. I might change a prompt to say just 3 sentences, but this can automate a lot of work. And so for me, I was going to have like dozens and dozens of these articles and have AI generate this on the go. This is 3.5, so I don't think these bullet points are great, but if I also tell it it's for a presentation, I want it 5 to 10 words per sentence or bullet points, it's going to go very, very well. I might be able to tell it the background color, the font color, all of these things, and if I keep asking Claude to make these changes, to give it space for the image, to bold certain parts of the text, blah, 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 it'll be great. Going back to my earlier train of thought here, I'm going to keep doing these projects because working with Claude has been an absolute joy. I cannot tell you how much I enjoy this. If you are a regular person who doesn't program, yeah, it's not adding a whole lot of value because you have to debug it a little bit, but for the most part, they work. They might use slightly outdated APIs, for example, that you want to fix up, calls in the library, but for the most part it works and it gets rid of the tedious part. Like this is really, really tedious. So I'm going to say, can you change create slide so that it is for a regular 1440p monitor? And also make sure there is space for the picture. right now the text appears under the picture, under or behind. And you're going to see that they're going to suggest a bunch of changes to create slide to make this work better. I'm not going to wait for the end of this. I think you've seen enough of this to know, to grasp how to make use of Claude artifacts to create something that's useful. And hopefully you saw my train of thought of JavaScript isn't really appropriate for my use case because it's not able to fetch URLs as easily as Python, whereas Python just has everything ready to go. I'm going to copy this over, but thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again for our next project very soon.